Hello, tea lovers. Welcome to Rebecca's Tea Cozy, where we share a love of tea and other things that are cozy to nourish our bodies and our souls. On today's episode, we're going to do a special tea tasting of a new type of tea that I came across. So, we've been doing a series on Let's Talk Tea of the 6 types of tea: green, white, yellow, oolong, black, and pour. Well, I came across another type of tea that is fairly newly discovered, which is purple tea. Yes, purple tea. Not sure if you've heard of it. I hadn't, so of course I needed to look into it and get me some to try. So I'm excited today. I've been saving it until the opportunity to share this tea with you and try it for the first time. So I'm going to share a little bit about this with you, then pour the tea to start steeping while I share a little bit more because it does take about 3 minutes to steep. So these are the leaves from the purple tea. This particular tea is from Kenya, and I'll share a little bit about the history before that. But you can see that it is rolled in some really interesting shapes, and it is a whole leaf tea. I have a heaping teaspoon of tea, and there will be about 4 to 5 ounces of water, and that was the directions on the package for the tea. So the water temperature is about 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, so just a little bit below the boiling point, maybe about 95 degrees Celsius. As I shared, I'm going to let this steep for about 3 minutes, and while it's steeping, we can talk a little bit more about this tea. So the purple tea is also from the Camelia Sinensis plant, and it was found growing indigenously in the area of Assam. If you're familiar with that term, it's because we mentioned it during our black tea and breakfast blend tea episodes, which is the area of India that is known for a lot of high tea production, and it creates a tea that is very rich, intense, and has a multi flavor. The purple tea was discovered in this area, and it was actually then cultivated in Kenya for a larger commercial scale production. So it grows well in a higher elevation, but at the equator level where it can receive a lot of sun in a dry climate year round. So this tea has been cultivated in Kenya the past couple of years, and it's becoming more widely known. It undergoes about the same processing as oolong teas, and so it's not as light as green tea, but it's not as dark as black tea. It sits right between those, and it has a sweeter, milder flavor than black tea, but doesn't have the grassiness and vegetal flavor of the green tea. This purple tea undergoes a similar process to oolong teas, so it is partially oxidized, and it creates a sweet, smooth flavor to the tea. At least I'm told. We're going to find out. So it's been about 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and pour the tea out, and let's give it a look. So the color of the liqueur is a purplish hue. It's actually really beautiful and unusual to see for a cup of tea. If you look at the wet leaves, you can actually see a hint of purple, and I'll provide a close-up of this because the camera may not pick it up, but you can see a purple tint to the leaves, which is common for this varietal, hence where it gets its name, purple tea. As always, let's begin our tea tasting experience by smelling the leaves. Wow, that has a really nice sweet smell, almost like candy. It's that sweet smelling. Fruity, kind of reminds me of like sweet tarts, where it's really sweet but a fruity smell to it as well. I can't wait to taste the tea. So let's do that now. It has a fruity flavor, sweet, mellow, definitely not the grassiness and earthiness, as they said, of the green teas because of that partial oxidation process. But yet it's a nice mild flavor, not intense like a black tea would be. There is a hint of astringency to this, and I think that's because I let it steep for the full time. So next time I steep this, I will definitely back that time up a little bit. I also used a little bit more leaf than the recommended 8 ounces of tea because I've got a smaller cup. So that would also impact that because I used a little bit more tea, should have steeped it a little bit less. But the flavor, the true flavor is still coming out, that I can tell that it has that sweetness, that mildness, and it's a really nice tea. I am glad that I looked into purple tea um, and decided to check this out. There are also the same benefits that we've been learning about in the different types of tea are in the purple leaf variety as well, because it comes from the Camellia Sinensis plant. But one of the additions is because of that purple tint to the leaves. That means that it has a special antioxidant in it, similar to blueberries, purple grapes, or eggplant. And if you know anything about antioxidants, you've learned that foods that contain that dark blue, purple, or really deep red pigment, think red wines as well, that it has a lot of beneficial properties to cancer fighting as well as cardiovascular health. So purple tea also contains some of those same antioxidants and are beneficial for fighting some of those diseases. I'm definitely glad that when I heard about purple tea that I decided to look into it a little bit more, and I found a company, Artful Tea, that sells Kenyan purple leaf tea, which is what this one is today. I don't have any affiliation with the company, but I will leave a link in case you're interested in checking it out for yourself. I would definitely recommend it. If you're not familiar with Rebecca's Tea Cozy, but you enjoyed today's episode, then I encourage you to subscribe so that you'll be notified when videos are posted. There is a weekly Wednesday posting of Let's Talk Tea episodes, in addition to other episodes such as these, where we focus on tea tasting and other types of information. So I encourage you to come back and visit us. And until the next time, be blessed with a cup of tea.